Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Science of Superpowers. I'm Tonya Dawn Recla. So glad to have you here. We are talking today all about co-creation. Our latest features, we're celebrating the men of co-creation, and we talk about this idea a lot at the Institute because this is what we're most curious about, right? What does it take for us to be able to be in these environments, right? To be able to exist in co-creative environments, to be creative in co-creative environments. And what we mean by that is, we have cooperation, which is, get along, do the things together so that we can accomplish the thing, right? You don't have to like each other, siblings, right? You don't have to like each other, you just got to get along, or you just got to get along long enough to get the thing done. Collaboration then is a little bit higher level of that, right? It's more of the voluntary, like, oh, hey, I want to contribute to something, right? I'm kind of seeing that this might benefit me if I do these things, right? That kind of thing, almost a starting of aligning the wills, essentially. And then the co-creation aspect is where you can hold yourself, right, in that creative element and be present with others holding themselves in a creative element for what comes forward, right? It's a concept that where two or more of us gather in light or love, there's this exponential quality that happens, right? Because of the field, there's a creative element that when we choose to come together with intention, right? With solid intentions, you might say positive intentions, higher intentions, right? It's not quite that simple when we start looking at valuations, but let's just keep it at when we come together in love, there's an exponential element at play that we get to work with, right? It is the creative element. And that is what is allowing for some of these incredibly creative solutions to come forward right now in a world that really could use some creative solutions. And so at the Superpower Network, we're bringing back some former guests, we're inviting new ones in, men who have dedicated their lives to something beyond themselves, something that impacts all of us in ways that that we feel is worthy of shining a light on, how they're being, right? What they're modeling, what they're studying, what they're sharing with the world, right? Keeping in mind that this lens that there are people who are coming after us, right? We have generations to consider way beyond us about and they're going to be impacted by the choices that we make now, and our willingness to look at the decisions that other generations made on our behalf and our willingness to make changes now is what gives us a chance to evolve and move into a very different way of beingness, which many people are starting to experience. And so at the Superpower Network, we're super fascinated with making sure that we're broadcasting these concepts as we're learning about them, as we're studying them, as we're working with them, as we're connecting in with other organizations that are doing amazing studies in these areas, folks. We've been at this for over 7 years, gathering the folks, talking to the people who are doing outrageous things on behalf of humanity, of all of us, right? Looking out, saying, hey, we probably want to be thinking about these things, right? We can't all just be thinking about what's coming next, right? What's coming next. And we appreciate the lenses through which some of these gentlemen are looking. And so I invite you to partake in that special with us. Listen to those interviews. In a world of like bite-sized chunk information, right? And quick fixes and 1, 2, 3s and the red pill and all of this stuff, I think it's really important to keep in mind that the awareness, right? The awakening, the coming to self-awareness, self-actualization, whatever we want to call it, right? The inspired self, whatever level we're playing at, whatever game we think we're playing, there's an awareness, there's a place that we get to where we can say, hey, this next level that we go to really is about all of us, right? We kind of get to these places where just having that piece of what's ours, right, starts to feel actually really entrapping. And when we branch out into bigger pursuits, bigger conversations, it's worthwhile to look for the folks who have been in those conversations for a minute. I think it's easy to forget because of the wealth of information that's out there that this information gets synthesized through our systems. It gets integrated through our systems, and it's that synthesizing and integration that allows us to reprogram ourselves. So keeping it at the mental level, which is where it flies in and flies out again, right? We may store it, we may be able to recall it, we may be able to regurgitate it, it doesn't mean that it's necessarily getting through your systems. And so we're talking about people who have dedicated lifetimes, right, decades to particular studies, right? Ervin Laszlo, 91 years old, decades, 109 books, right? Not to mention multiple honorary PhDs from various countries, multiple nominations for peace prizes. We're not talking about small stuff here. So when we talk about looking into the data, the experience, the lived experience, the studied experiences, whatever they are for these folks, let's take that, right? Let's take what they're offering and say, okay, cool. I'm gonna sit with that, and I'm gonna let that work my system. I'm gonna be with this, and I'm gonna remember that I just got to this conversation, and there's a whole lot of history back here, right? A whole lot of history. And so I think it's incredibly worthwhile to bring that history forward, and to look at it, right? And to see it through these lenses. What do we want to bring forward? And that's a constant negotiation within our systems. We're doing it as individuals all the time. It's kind of an autopilot program. It's like keep discard, keep discard, keep discard, right? It's just this constant ticket, 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 ticket. Do we store this? Do we? It's no different than spring cleaning, right? Our store, keep, donate, right? What is it? What pile is it going to go into? This is how we keep our systems moving if we're active and in motion with that. And so as we go through these processes and as we listen to this information of these brilliant men that are coming forward, run that through the lens of, okay, what am I being called into, right? Each of us, we're guided to our own information, and part of the co-creative process is stepping into a space with this curiosity, right? Courageous curiosity of like, hey, it may totally shake my world, but I'm going to do it. Or as Perry Marshall talks about, putting your beliefs on the table and let people smash it, break it up into pieces. And this is why we don't do that, right? Because if you break my beliefs up into a million pieces, what does that mean about me? What does that mean about my world? Right. And what we're learning is to be willing to be fluid, to learn new things, to see from different perspectives, and to have the ability to know what's in resonance for us. Really powerful place. And it's required for these co-creative environments that people are wanting to manifest, they're visioning into, right? We know so many of you have big visions for gathering people and communities and all of this other stuff. Attend to the energetics, start there, make sure that you're cohering people as you go. So much we don't know about this stuff still, but so much that we do. And when you start off with that level of awareness of there is something else happening here, folks, when we gather, something else is occurring, and we may not know exactly what's going on, but we can start to play with those dynamics, and it changes everything. And so that's the conversation that we're having this month as the Superpower Network celebrates the men of co-creation. Men who have dedicated their existence to the pursuit of something beyond themselves in areas like science, business, medicine, personal development, religion, family, relationship, and many others. These men have stepped up and said yes to co-creating a world that aims to inspire all of us. Thank you for modeling admirable character and honorable pursuits. We love you, love each other. And that's the lens through which we are starting off this amazing feature, and we invite you to join us. Come join us and listen to these episodes from folks who are doing amazing things in the world. Let it inspire you to do your own amazing things. Until next time and beyond next time, remember who you are. We love you, love each other. Goodbye for now.